me a screw, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to Cypherfics. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the first part of, What If Issei, Rias enter Hazbinhotel. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of RedKHII on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. I remember, walking inside the bank to withdraw some money, then, two men stormed in with one armed with a gun and another wielding a machete sword, yelling at everyone to stop for the bank robbery they are now committing. I can still remember the people screaming and cowering in terror for their lives as we were forced to be silent hostages and watch our captors demand to pull out all the bank's money, threatening to even shoot at the innocent children and elderly if we even think of calling the police. I'm not a policeman, but I can't allow them to do as they please and harm these people. They were stashing the money in their bags when we heard sirens from outside, attracting us that the police has arrived. But we can see that the robbers will not give up easily. Right after one of the policemen called out via megaphone to call them out and that the other men will go into the bank, one of the robbers dared grab a little girl from her terrified mother's arms and hold her at gunpoint. It was at this moment those men knew, they F up. As the gunner furiously yells at the crying girl to shut up and his machete friend checks on the money they stole in their bags, the latter is unknowingly standing in front of me. I used his distraction to quickly grab what I brought with me before all of this happened from my pockets, my lighter and my can of deodorant spray, using both of them as a flamethrower to spray flames at the back of the gunner's head until everyone watched in horror of a man's head on fire while running around the bank. And screaming in agony, dropping both the little girl who ran towards her mother and his gun near my feet. Before he could extinguish the fire off his head, I hastily throw my stuff and grab his gun to quickly shoot at the weapon's original owner through his legs until I know that there was only one bullet left, tempted to shoot at his heart, but I don't want to both scare the other hostages and become like these bad guys. Hopefully, I'll stop the ex-gunner from walking away from the law and his future punishment. UBSTRD. I heard the machete-wielding robber yelling at him in anger for what he did to his friend, whose head had finally derived from flames that could have killed him. As quickly as I can, I aimed the gun at the last criminal in the CHST and pull the trigger just as I watched the man throwing his weapon at me, immediately felt excruciating pain through my heart and body, and saw red flashing before my eyes slowly blurred into black. Wait, why do I feel like I'm falling from a sky instead of the floor? Bam! Ow! That hurt. A voice cried out in pain after he landed what appears to be trash cans that clattered on the floor after his rough landing before his back hit the strong ground. The filthy stench seeping through his nostrils prompted the young or middle-aged man to hastily wake up from his strangely abrupt nap and scramble onto his feet while dusting his hands on his body and clothes, trying to get his mind back to the present and remember what he could recall earlier. It was when he looked down that he noticed something awry, to his surprise to realize that his entire body has changed. For some reason, bringing to wonder where he is, he looks at his hands to see his skin is now gray, and instead of his usual clothes, he now wears a blue jacket with a white and black shirt, gray cargo pants with a brown belt on his waist, and a pair of cowboy boots. Noticing a broken glass window of some building beside him, the figure ran and see his reflection, revealing his astonished-stricken face as he noticed other than his new skin color, his short black hair has white tips, and his eyes have changed color to glow a bright, BLD red. What is this place? The man wondered aloud in disbelief, looking at himself for a bit before he slowly walks out of the alleyway. He appeared now that he noticed that he was no longer at the bank. A city, but unlike his home, this city is nothing but red. There are few other colors, but much of this place is red, even the sky that strangely has a gigantic pentagram symbol floating above the sky and the large signs on a few of the buildings with an additional arrow sign pointing down beside the said signs that are written, "This is hell." Another thing that confirmed his suspicions and that he's not hallucinating, or dreaming is the people. Some of them look humanoid but the other people look like demonic monsters, either they are bipedal wolves or animal-looking creatures, some do or don't have wings and slash or tails, and other monstrous characteristics that normal humans would dream or have imaginations about having them. Hell, huh? The gray-skinned man muttered aloud, pinching himself in the cheeks in case he is still dreaming but sees that he wasn't sleeping to induce his fear. I died in a bank robbery. I hope the people back home are safe. He wasn't sure that he ends up in hell after his life ended. Sure, he may have done a thing or two that would be considered a sin when he was younger, but he matured and grew up as a modestly civil man. And he was sure that he may have killed those men as a defense. Realizing that he might stick out like a sore thumb by standing and pondering to himself, the revealed new sinner quickly left his arrival post and hurriedly walked through the pavement and the streets. During the walk, he would often glance around without letting the other demonic citizens notice him spying on them before leaving to continue his walk, allowing him to muse on his thoughts. So, he's in hell. Hopefully, he managed to stop the bank robbers from killing the hostages during that ordeal, and maybe the hostages, police, or even anyone can or already helped bury his body. For sure, he has done anything he did in his life to be good in God's eyes. Praying for him that he'll be a better person, doing good deeds for himself, his family, friends, other people, and so on. But for some reason, he still ends up in hell. Maybe even a single act of killing with a reason-like defense isn't allowed for a soul to pass through heaven. As he wonders about his predicament and what he can do while he's here, he was sure that he can guess that he's being watched, from feeling the back of his neck prickling up in surprise. Curiously, with a bit of dread, the sinner faintly glares at the corners of his eyes and peeks at his side to see that, unlike the demons mindlessly walking or flying across the streets and away from him, a slowly increasing number of them suddenly notice him with reactions ranging from suspicion glowers, noses wrinkling in disgust, and mad grins directed at him. It was until he can hear multiple footsteps following him from behind that he guessed that some or all of them are going to hound him for various reasons that he could think of. Could it be because of being a new arrival in hell? Does one or some of them recognize him in their past lives? Or they could be exacting revenge on him for their sinful human lives. Ain't no way that he'll end up as a punching bag with these monsters. He was about to kick his feet on the ground and hurriedly sprint out of his way from being caught when a large flash of black zoomed past him and whirled around to stand in front of him like a wall or barricade, surprising the newcomer to scream of seeing a wolf's face looming over him with a twisted smirk showing his fanged teeth that could chomp him into pieces if he's not careful, his black eyes and red scare aglow in front of his face. Other than the wolf, he knows for sure that this giant is a hellhound. The newcomer looked around and see he is being cornered by two extra demons also smirking their wrathful excitement at him. The second demon has long and wavy red hair and looks humanoid save for his pink skin with bright red and white markings that look like splattered paint all over his face and body, a matching pair of wings on his back and a tail on his butt, and wears only a pair of blank pants with large holes all over it, giving the impression of wearing shorts and stockings, and his feet looks like boots. The third one, the shortest of the group of three to be hovering on the newcomer's knee level, reminds him of Humpty Dumpty by how his entire form is a single egg with his face at the center and tiny arms and legs, a pair of black and white, or inversed colored horns at the side of his bald head, and dressed like a businessman. Well, boys. The hellhound, only wearing a sleeveless shirt or vest showing his muscular, black-furred body, and purple pants, grinned with a growl, crawling towards the newcomer who nervously backed away until he stood with his back pressed against a wall of some shop, trying not to get himself killed by two of these three imposing figures since the egg appears to be weak. My nose got us a lump of new dead meat showing up in here. Yes, we don't see anyone like him before, boss. The winged demon, unsure if he's an incubus or a different kind of sinning demon. The smell can confirm that he just died a minute ago. Be boss. We can take him out and sell his body pieces to the market. The egg-like business demon suggested with a sadistic grin, although the newcomer can see the possible incubus sneering his disgust at his partner for his words or personality. Now, boys. The hellhound leader calmed his partners with only his voice as he continues staring at the newcomer, who can tell that his future assailant is enjoying the look of fear he must be feeling and showing on his face right now. Immediately, the hellhound swiftly grabs his body with his giant, pod-like hands on both sides of the small body and raised him off the ground, forcing a scream from the new sinner before he was carried away from the wall and placed surprisingly gentle on the ground and dusting his body with his gigantic hands, just as the newcomer and the other two demons listened to the hellhound speaking to them with a poised grin. But his voice is menacing. We shouldn't do anything like that to anyone, yet. Alright man, tell us who you are and why you're here from being dead. Might be good enough to know if you want to be spared. As he's aware that he's starting to be afraid to not even speak and answer, just by seeing these demons in front of him, he is trying his efforts to calm down and not be intimidated. At least he can be fully awake instead of initially believing that this is a lucid dream. My name is Axel. Axel finally spoke, trying to look at the three demons with a determined sneer. And yeah, I just got here. I was killed trying to stop bank robbers from escaping and almost killed the other hostages. Oh, a hero, right? The egg demon scoffed, attracting his two friends and Axel to look down and see him standing in front of the latter's legs with a crudely angry sneer. With a glance after he took a step back from the egg-looking demon, Axel can see that the hellhound stare at the small friend with a bored scowl while the incubus snorted his disgust at his friend, bringing the sinner to wonder about their true feelings to one at them. How old are you? 20. I'm 29 to 30. Unsure, Axel answered uncertainly. That young, huh? The small egg again snorted in anger. You think, just because you want to do what those brats think they can act as heroes just to get attention, that you look down on us and sprout nonsense that you save those nobodies. Listening to his assumptions, Axel can confirm one thing, he doesn't like this egg. No, I just want to help and save people. I don't care about getting praised. Axel muttered aloud with a frown, although he brought the egg-like demon to yell in anger, tempting him to strike his legs for his disobedience. What was that? I'll kill you. Ignore this idiot, boy. The incubus assured Axel with a tired sigh, infuriating his egg accomplice. He only acts like this all the time. His form might be fitting and disgusting as his previous life, an incompetent fool who slacks off and always got himself reprimanded by his boss for his laziness and harassing his female colleagues. That's not true. The egg demon objected, running away a bit before turning around to point a finger at his two friends and Axel. I'm an expert at my work. I only prove my usefulness to those who doubted me, like those shameless women who seduced me with their short skirts. I was fired and killed because of those SLTs. When the egg finished howling a glimpse of his life story, he sees Axel, the hellhound, and incubus staring at him with the former gawking in baffled disgust, the latter looking away in boredom, and the leader dully rolling his eyes. It's as if despite his claims that he is they are seeing him as a nuisance. You died as a drunk pervert because you snuck into some house and almost raped a younger girl in her sleep only to get caught and beat up to death by her family, and even their pet cat. The incubus reminded with a scoff, unfazed by the other's outburst. Axel and the hellhound then see the egg now pointing a finger at him in fury. Shut up. I've had enough of you looking down on me. If you want to be a male slut, then I'll. Immediately, Axel and the two demons watched the egg's entire form shatter and exploded into egg pieces, and black and pink liquids burst out and splatter on the ground as if the black is his egg BLD and the large pink yolk is his brain, alarming Axel and the now two demons, who witnessed the sudden death of one of them in bewilderment at the same time as a large harpoon spear-like weapon with a gray blade and black body jabbed itself on the ground in front of the now broken egg demon's body. landed on the side until the weapon was swiftly pulled back by the chain connecting to the end of the harpoon. The three followed the weapon's direction and see that a newcomer has appeared from out of nowhere, waving what's left of the egg demon's BLD from the blade before it stood silently and glared at the three sinner demons with a glowing red grin and its X-shaped eyes. What's that? Another demon? Axel wondered in distraught and uncertainty, unaware of the hellhound and incubus staring at the newcomer in both horror and anger. This newcomer, definitely humanoid with a monochrome uniform, has a large pair of goat-like horns on its head, a floating halo with a big gem and three smaller crystals on both sides, a pair of large wings on its backs, and Axel just noticed that its face is a LED mask. What the hell? Axel heard the hellhound growling in anger when he looked away from the strangely evil being in front of him and see his assailant gritting his fanged teeth at the newcomer with a growl. What is this angel BSTRD doing here now? But the extermination ended last week. How could it be here? The incubus notified his friend in both anger and dread of this angel, confusing Axel who silently stare at the latter. He was sure that angels were supposed to be benevolent beings who'll take good souls to heaven, but this one did not show anything good at all. Before he could ask them questions, Axel was forced to hold his tongue from watching both the hellhound and incubus sprinting on fours and flying with his wings towards the angel, attracting it to start flying from its post and swngng its weapon at either of them for a fight. Wait! Axel cried, almost reaching his hand as if he can grab either of them despite their rough first meeting as he watches the hellhound and incubus starting a fight with this angel, although he noticed that they are trying to avoid the angel's weapon as if that thing is powerful to kill demons. When he holds his hand in front, Axel witnesses a small burst of yellow and orange flames appearing in front of his head, alarming him to pull his hand back only to see the fire following his hand or it stuck with him. Gasping his surprise, Axel lifted his other hand which was initially nothing before another ball of fire materialized and floated and flickered above his palm. Strangely his hands aren't burning his skin nor he is feeling pain. Did he do that? Now that he's in hell, he has powers now and right now, he can use fire. That sounds cool, if not for the fact that he must learn how to control it in anything but a fight between two demons and an angel. Axel can see that the latter is going to win after it kicked the incubus away while fighting his friend. Even if he's a demon, he must do something and help in hell. A gasp was released from the incubus when the exterminator angel dared kick him and sent him flying and hit a wall, strong enough to make him fall on his butt in agony as he painfully watches his boss fighting against the exterminator by swngng his arms and legs and try to claw them against the fallen angel. Trying to fight the pain as he sluggishly raised his painful body to his feet, Incubus heard a loud, forced gasp and whirled his head in surprise to see the hellhound kneeling on the ground with his left hand grasping his right forearm which is bleeding black BLD while the angel leapt away from its opponent. Its glued mocking smile looked down on the hellhound sneering its vehemence at it. "Boss!" Incubus cried in worry and hastily ran towards the other and forcefully pushed the hellhound by using his strength to knock the wolf demon off the road and both fell inside an alleyway leading to a different part of the pentagram city. "Ow, that hurt, damn it." Hellhound cried in pain and anger although he instantly wrapped his left arm around his incubus mate when both look over the latter who peeked over his shoulder and see the angel silently walking closer to them. The blade of its holy weapon is still spilling a bit of hellhound's BLD as it holds its weapon over its head and ready itself to swing it down, forcing Incubus to widen its wings in front of hellhound as a shield. If he must sacrifice himself or his ability to fly just to save his friend, then so be it. As if it noticed something, the angel looks to its left only for Incubus and hellhound to watch a big ball of fire soaring towards the exterminator angel and burst into a small explosion that is strong to send the angel flying farther to the side and away from the disbelieved couple. "Hey!" Incubus and hellhound heard a familiar voice shouting and see, from their positions, Axel running closer to stand in front of the exterminator angel with his fists strangely covered with yellow flames, possibly now finding out of his new powers when arriving in hell. "You okay? Let me deal with this angel. Get out of here." Axel yelled at them without averting eye contact from the angel now back on its feet from the sudden attack. "Are you crazy? That's an exterminator angel. That thing's weapon will do more than kill you. Hellhound yelled in fury, puzzled that a newcomer is trying to get himself killed just to help two demons, who were about to take him out for money, escape from an angel. He must be crazy in the head. But you two are hurt. And even if you want to kill me earlier, I can't sit by and see two people killed. Now get out of here. Axel admitted in anger in his voice, loud enough to startle Hellhound and Incubus from seeing his expression instead of the fear he had when they tried to smuggle him with that egg loser. Although he agreed with his mate that the newcomer is going to die stupidly, Incubus must agree with Axel's demand to help them escape. Without saying a word, Incubus hastily grab Hellhound's uninjured arm and pull him to stand on his feet and hold the same arm on his shoulders and back, trying not to agitate Hellhound's wounded and bleeding arm with the Hellhound grunting in pain by also try to ease his suffering that he will never admit. Even if it's impossible, you better be alive and watch out with that weapon, kid. Axel heard the Incubus shouting with his voice slowly fading from running away alongside his wounded friend until silence now fills the air as the part of the town is now an empty field for a fight between a new sinner demon and an exterminator angel. Smiling to himself with determination, even if a part of him dreads attacking an angel, albeit a murderous one, Axel clench his fists tighter with the flames shrouding his hands growing until it completely covers his wrists and dash towards the angel who quickly flew towards him with its weapon ready until Axel hastily throws his arms forward for multiple projectiles of flames to fly towards the exterminator angel, who must have realized the fireballs flying straight at it and silently twirl the chain and harpoon spear weapon in a circle in front of it and use the fast rotation movement like a windmill to reflect and bounce each flame away from it. Axel stopped throwing fire for the angel to stop rotating its weapon as well and resume flying closer to him and jab its spear to where it would have hit at Axel's chest, alarming him to roll his body over the road until he is now behind the angel who was a little bit slow to react, kneeling on the ground with his open hand aiming at the angel's masked face and shoot a fireball at the head. Managed to hit it at the face for the angel to stumble and walk backwards but almost landed roughly on the road before it regains its balance. You don't talk a lot, do you? Axel pointed out what he noticed during the fight as he is not even wanting for an answer as the silent exterminator angel soared towards him with its right arm and holy harpoon spear moved forward and almost impaled through Axel's head when he quickly tilted it to his right only to choke and sputter his voice in agony of the sudden kick the angel dared stamp its foot on his stomach. Like earlier to Incubus, the kick was strong enough to send Axel flying farther away from the enemy until he was knocked against a strong glass that shattered against his back, luckily not scathing through his clothes and back. Groaning in pain, Axel looked down and realized he is now sitting on top of a hood belonging to a pure white limousine, that must have stopped itself from driving when he accidentally flew to the windshield. Sorry. You, okay? Axel hastily called the possible people inside the car, although he managed to see the angel's holy weapon flying toward him at fast speed, alarming him with a gasp and quickly climbed to the limousine's head and avoid receiving the hit of the holy weapon impaling through the now broken windshield and must have hit something, when Axel heard a female voice screaming in horror from inside the limo. A girl. Axel mentally gasped as he first stared at the chain of the weapon still stuck inside the car before the owner did nothing but possibly smile maniacally at him, feeling himself angry that this angel dared attack a few innocent demons. This has gone too far, now he'll do what he'll always want to do. First noticing that the angel is having difficulty trying to pull its weapon from the car, Axel hurriedly runs on the chain and races towards the angel like a tightrope walker, surprising him in both surprise and amazement that he can do it without realizing, and bounded off the chain with one leg closed and his other leg raised and flying straight to the angel's face and LED mask with a flying kick, successfully slamming his booted foot against the angel's face and try to use enough strength for Axel to witness the angel flying farther from him when he landed roughly on the road and watched his opponent even rolling its body at the ground, around a few feet away from Axel and the holy weapon. No, no way. Axel gasped in bewilderment that he managed to both perform a successful flying kick and even use it against a murderous angel. But instead of celebrating to himself in happiness, Axel froze in horror from watching the angel wildly climb on its hands and knees and seemingly smile its glued grin at him even when he hastily grabbed the holy weapon's chains with his hands and tried to tug and pull the weapon still jabbed inside the inactive limousine, aware from touching it that he's not affected badly on the weapon, meaning it's the blade that he and everyone else must avoid. Trying to ignore the angel scrambling onto its feet and running towards him instead of flying, Axel gave a harsh pull at the chain and watched the weapon finally emerge from the broken windshield and now flying towards him, immediately frightening him to hastily duck by leaning back onto the road and watched the holy weapon swiftly impale itself through the exterminator angel's heart when it was about to throw its clawed hands at Axel from above, but now it shuddered and froze from receiving its weapon through the heart. At the same time, from being dismayed by watching the holy weapon impaling through the angel, Axel's hands that are still holding the end of the weapon's chain rope accidentally spurt his new fire powers and create a trail of fire lining through the chain and the blade before Axel hastily climbed back on his back and backpedal away, gasping his fear of the exterminator angel's body now starting to incinerate from top to bottom in seconds, releasing a strange metallic noise that shrills through the air and brought Axel to grasp his flame-extinguished hands onto his ears and try to block the deafening screech from his ears and keeping his eyes shut from watching what he accidentally do to the exterminator angel. After an amount of time that he forgot to count even after he can hear that the scream ended, Axel hurriedly blinked his glowing red eyes and hastily looked at the exterminator angel's burning body to realize that it is now a large pile of ashes that now flew away from the ground and into the air until it disappears, leaving the now discarded holy weapon laid onto the ground and no longer burning. I can't believe it. Axel muttered in aghast as he slowly and shakily grasps his hands onto the chain and curl them to pull the weapon closer to him until he is now holding the harpoon spear's body as if it is, trying not to use his pyrokinesis again by slowly calming his nerves down. Unsure if the robbers are considered his first kills back in the living world, Axel cannot believe that he kills an angel. Even if it tried to kill another demon, Axel is starting to believe that these incidents will make him a killer, which feared him more than when he was alive. "Excuse me." Axel heard a girl's voice calling to him from behind and managed to break his mental debate when he hastily whirls behind and see a tall and slender woman, possibly a humanoid demon by her appearance, running from the limousine's open door and now standing before kneeling beside his side on the road. "Are you alright? Are you hurt?" The demon woman asked in worry as she grasps her hands on Axel's cheeks like a mother comforting a child, which startled him from noticing how humanely gentle she is from her expression, tone of voice, and even her grip on his face. Looking at her, Axel sees her long, blonde hair tied into a twice-banded ponytail, with lighter blonde highlights and a curled bang flipped to her left, black lips and rosy, red cheeks, red eyes with light yellow sclera and thick black eyelashes. She wears a bright red tuxedo jacket with dark red lapels and matching bright red pants, a black bow tie and white long-sleeve dress shirt underneath her suit, and black and white saddle shoes. Surprisingly, Axel realized to make his face blushing, she is very appealing for a demon. "Why yeah," Axel answered, making sure to not waste this girl's time and not harm her with the holy weapon by holding it closer to him, like a large teddy bear. First watching the young woman remove her hands that then kindly helped pull both on their feet, a sigh of relief released from her smile, Axel softly smiled back with a shrug of his shoulders. "Thank you, miss. I'm glad that no one got hurt in that fight. Are you alright?" Axel sees the demon woman first blinked her eyes in astonishment at first as if his question about her welfare is nothing ordinary here before Axel was taken back by the demon woman smiling her sincere happiness at him. Oh yes. I'm safe, thank you, although my driver, unfortunately, died from the weapon you're holding right now." The woman admitted with a nod, initially twitching into a hesitant frown when revealing her driver's death that prompted Axel to also shudder in guilt for his involvement before the girl assured with her eyes closed and her smile shakily returned. "But I'm only happy that you managed to survive that shocking fight. I never heard of anyone killing an exterminator angel before, although I heard my father must have fought a lot of them before." "Whoa." Axel blinked in bewilderment. Her dad fought them before. He must be powerful in this hell, possibly more powerful than the devil. Anyway. I can tell that you must be new in hell. My name is Charlie. Nice to meet you. The demon woman, Charlie, pointed out with her kind smile returned, managed to calm Axel's nerves down to smile back. My name's Axel. Nice to meet you too. And yeah, I just got here. Axel responded. I did have a complicated meeting with a few of the others here, but I managed to get 2 of them out of here when the exterminator angel arrived. Now, I'm looking for a place to stay. I hope there's one that doesn't mind someone like me. Rubbing the back of his hand with his right hand since his left hand is holding what is now his new holy weapon since he accidentally killed its original owner, Axel had his eyes closed with a sheepish smile as he didn't notice Charlie's face first frown her surprise for a few seconds before an excited smile broke her mouth. Actually there is. Charlie answered, startling Axel to open his eyes back when he watches her explaining with enthusiasm on her appealing face and smile. I run a hotel. For my project of redeeming sinners, hoping that my team's efforts will help our future customers atone for their sins and get them to heaven. If you like, I can tell you everything you need to know about hell and the exterminator angels and offer you to be our customer. Axel's eyes widen with a subtly glow of his red eyes. He didn't know that there was such a thing as a demon hotel redeeming sinners. For years, he was taught that hell is nothing but an insane underworld focusing on tormenting sinners with excruciating torture. But Charlie's hotel does sound nice, and if it works, Axel can go to heaven. Are you kidding? I love to. Axel accepted with a grateful smile. I thought for sure that maybe there was a mistake of me being in hell when I died, but even if it wasn't, I would love to stay in a place that wants sinners to go to heaven. Charlie, you got yourself a customer. Seeing Charlie about to blow with happiness and gratitude, Axel wasn't expecting her to quickly jump onto him in a hug and thanked him for his kindness, with Axel making sure that he won't harm the kind demon girl with his holy weapon. Once Charlie broke her hug, she led Axel towards her limousine as she is so happy with his acceptance to become her hotel's customer that she doesn't care about her transportation's damages, although Axel realized something that caught his surprise. Oh wait. Charlie, didn't you say that your driver's dead? Axel recalled as Charlie almost climbs inside the car when he remembered and flinched in horror, realizing that he was right and her driver is dead from seeing the black BLD splattered on the driver's window. For your kind offer, and I may have saved your life, can I help drive us to your hotel? Axel suggested with a nervous smile as a few seconds of silence and musing was it took for Charlie to hesitantly nod her response. Yes, please. Charlie acknowledged. Tada. Welcome to the happy hotel, Axel. Charlie beamed and threw her arms up wide the moment she and Axel exited the slightly damaged limousine. Axel kindly drove them with Charlie's instructions and without even hitting a random demon pedestrian who may not have witnessed Axel's fight with the exterminator demon. Coiling the chain of his new holy spear around his body and allowing the spear to dangle behind his back, reminding himself to ask Charlie if there's a way to sheath the holy blade, Axel glanced at his new home and immediately gawks his amazement, for he has 3 words to describe this colossal building: massive and awesome. From his and Charlie's position, Axel sees the 7-story tall building bearing elements of an airship, a cruise ship that would bring him to think of the infamous Titanic, a sailing ship and a carousel incorporated into the building itself. The first and second floor areas also have a train with some tracks looping the first 2 floors exterior, and a small radio broadcasting room is located on the top right of the building alongside a sign saying "On Air." The entrance has a tented cover with a circus or theater ticket booth at the center underneath the tent with a set of double, glass-stained doors, and the overall top of the hotel reads, Hazbin Hotel. That sign caught Axel's attention to raise an eyebrow in confusion. Wait. Why is the hotel called Hazbin Hotel, if you call it Happy Hotel? Axel asked as he sees Charlie blinking her eyes with a startled frown and her body flinched with her face sweating bullets in surprise, slowly lowering her arms. Oh, someone from my group may have accidentally changed the logo. We'll get that fixed soon. Charlie admitted with a nervous shrug before her optimism returned when she grabbed Axel's left arm and excitedly but also gently pulled him inside the hotel, almost tumbling onto the ground of how strong Charlie is when she's excited, or she is generally strong since she must be a sinner demon. But let me help you get in and book you your new room. Running through the double doors, Charlie and Axel entered the hotel's lobby, with the latter noticing how it looks disrepair and shabby compared to the exterior with a slightly dark and red color scheme except for the greenish bar at the side, where someone is sleeping on the bar while his hand holds a green glass bottle of alcohol. And in the center of the room which caught Charlie and Axel's attention to stop proceeding and watch in surprise, with the latter not seeing the former tensing her shoulders and glancing her dread at both the sight in front of her and Axel's reaction watching what they're seeing. Are two of the 5 demons possibly arguing with each other in anger while the other 2 are watching in possible amusement, although the man of that 2 is smiling grimly and the shortest girl appears to be mindlessly smiling as everyone watched the other girl and tallest man arguing. Axel can see that, although they have demonic aspects, almost all of them have a humanoid appearance. From left to right, the first sinner demon Axel sees is a girl with grayish lavender colored skin, with her long, white hair having gray lavender stripes at the ends, looks like a moth-like shape and wears a long dark pink bow with 2 long tails on the back of her head. Unlike her right eye, which is colored ivory white and light pink scara, she doesn't have a left eye but rather has a gray eye patch with a dark pink X. For attire, she wears a dark pink or red blouse with a gray V-shaped collar and lapels, a gray choker around her neck, scallop trim to the sleeves, and 2 buttons down the front, a matching dark slate gray skirt, fingerless gloves past her forearms, and long stockings, also scalloped with white at the tops and the tips of the toes, and no shoes. She is holding an almost exact holy spear that Axel has. The tallest person of this group, possibly around 8 feet with his heels on, has white fur with fluffy hair extending from both the front and back of his head and splotches of light pink markings all over him, light pink eyelids as eyeshadow, dark and thick eyelashes, pink eyes with his right eye having a light yellow scara while his left eye has a dark scara. Pointed teeth with a single golden fang that sits slightly to his right of center as his mouth, 3 cerise pink dots under each of his eyes, his chst looks and shapes like a woman's melons but made of fluffy fur. His clothes are a long light pink suit blazer with horizontal white stripes down the length, reddish-gray miniskirt, long reddish-gray thigh-high heeled boots, and a reddish-gray bow tie with a cerise pink center and a black choker. His top set of arms has long cerise pink gloves with white detailing at the cuffs, while the bottom set of his arms is long white gloves. Axel guessed he's like a spider demon. A slim and dapper-looking sinner demon, with beige-colored skin, a wide smile bearing sharp, yellow teeth feet, and his hair is a pinkish-red cropped, angled bobcut with black tips at the ends and 2 large, black-tipped tufts of hair shaped like a deer's ears, which confirms himself as a deer demon by his 2 small black antlers on the crown of his head. His eyes have dark red sclerae and bright red irises with thin black pupils. Over his right eye is a dark red oval-shaped, and black-rimmed monocle. This deer demon also wears a red pinstripe coat with dark red and white lining lapels, a bright red dress shirt with a black cross on the chst underneath his jacket, a black knotted bow tie with a bright red center, black gloves with red fingertips, long black dress pants with matching bright red cuffs, and black pointed toe boots with red deer hoofprints emblazoned on the soles. His gloved hands hold a thin cane with a vintage-style microphone attached to it. The shortest sinner demon is a small cyclops demon with her only large eye colored hot pink and fiery orange scara with a light yellow iris and a blackish dark brown pupil, short and scruffy red-pink hair with yellow highlights, sharp and light yellow teeth, and small pink dots at each corner of her mouth like dimples. She wears a dark pink neckerchief, a white blouse with pink dripping splotch patterning, along with a bright pink swing skirt showing a design of dark pink poodle design with yellow dots on top, and her small and pointed limbs are colored dark pink. And the final demon, who is sleeping possibly drunk at the bar until he woke up with a grumpy scowl, is an anthropomorphic cat demon with taupe-colored fur but having white fear on his face, torso, feet and upper arms, large, red wings with black stripes and card markings like clubs, spades, hearts, and diamonds, yellow-orange eyes with a dark taupe sclera, with yellow-orange irises, long red eyebrows with dark red vertical stripes near the tips, and a small black heart above each eyebrow. Yellow-orange hearts at his paws, a long, taupe tail with a large spray of plume-like fur or feathers at the ends, colored red, black and white stripes. His only clothes are a black top hat with a red hatband and a golden button-like decoration, and a red bow tie on his neck. Seriously, how many times do I have to tell you to stop trying to kill other demons outside the hotel? The moth girl yelled at the spider and deer sinner demons in anger while holding onto the spear in front of them. The bow on her head immediately pointed at all sides and resembled demonic horns, although the spider rolled his eyes in boredom and the deer resumed smiling as if her words and temper are of no importance to them, while everyone ignores that they are being watched by their friend and their new patron. Chill out, toots. I was feeling bored from staying in my room while Fat Nugget sleeping earlier, so I want to let go of some steam, and got myself some other fun when I spot those randos trying to vandalize the hotel. You can thank me earlier for saving the hotel. The spider demon sighed with a scoff as his bored frown for listening to the girl's complaints shifted into a crudely stuck smirk with a chuckle, although his tease received the moth girl demon more agitated by gritting her teeth in fury and her hair flared upwards, tempting to kill the spider demon the same as the exterminator angel tried to kill Axel as far as he noticed, before the spider demon then slid closer to press his body against the deer demons, bringing the latter to possibly tense. His body with his smile and eyes widen when it glares at the other demon grinning seductively at him, to the moth demon girl's disgust, and hastily remove one of her hands off her holy spear to cover the cyclops demon girl's eye, to the other one's confusion in her frown. And speaking of fun, how about you and I have fun for once, Al? No thank you, Angel. And as much as I always tell you every single time, I'm not interested in your filthy acts, even for a price you think it's reasonable, and you must respect the 5-foot rule when speaking with me. The deer demon that the spider demon, strangely named Angel, called him Al objected while pushing the other away from him with his microphone-like cane, receiving a displeased pout from Angel at first before he immediately smirks his flirtatious grin at Al despite his genuine displeasure at him. Axel was astonished to notice that Al's voice sounds filtered like he is using an old radio sound effect whenever he speaks. So, these are your workers. Trying not to get the other's attention when the moth girl continues to rebuke Angel, Axel whispered his question to Charlie and faintly look away from the debate to see her tense smile. Well, yes, but I like to see them as more than just workers for the happy hotel. To me, I want to see them as my friends, and I know that, deep down in their sinning hearts, they can be redeemed, and I must make sure that they can be atoned and will go to heaven, avoiding their fate in hell as well as the overpopulation. Charlie answered with a small but understanding yet sad smile when she glances at her friends continuing their argument, with Axel releasing a soft gasp of wonder from his lips as he remains amazed that there is a sinner demon who cares for her fellow kind to help them redeemed before he watches Charlie clapping her hands to get her friends/workers' attentions and stop their argument when they notice both Charlie and Axel's appearances, with the moth girl slowly remove her hand off the little girl's eye. Vaggie, Angel, Alastor, Nifty, Husk, I got us our second official customer for the Happy Hotel. I want you all to give your warm welcomes to a man. The Cyclops demon girl, whom Axel believed Charlie calls her Nifty, spoke in excitement and, quickly to the point that Axel couldn't see it by how fast she is, scurry away from her friends and toward Axel like a fast bug before the latter froze in disbelief of the tiny demon climbing around and over him like a bug while she managed to not get harmed by the holy blade of his weapon pointing downwards until Axel found himself with his neck craned up and staring at Nifty's eye staring inches closer to his vision and smiling wildly in front of his face by standing on his torso, horrifying the new hotel patron as he could have sworn that her large eye is also glowing bright yellow against his reds. Hi. I'm Nifty, it's nice to meet you. Would you like to be my friend? I always want to have more friends. Nifty excitedly, no, sadistically greeted with a manic smile without aware of how terrified the man is simply from breaking his personal bubble and acting like a psychopathic monster with just a smile before a soft gasp and the instant lack of feeling her presence on top of him attracted Axel to see Charlie hastily pull Nifty away from him with a smile of her terror for what one of them caused. Nifty. I'm sorry but you're making Axel uncomfortable before he could have a room. Charlie told her and carefully placed her down on the floor before she attracted the others to look at her and Axel when she raised her hands and hover them in front of the latter when she spoke with an excited smile. Everyone, I want you all to meet Axel. He showed up at Hell before we met in the streets, and he was kind enough to join the Happy Hotel. Axel, I want you to meet Nifty. She's our hotel's maid and chef. Need housekeeping and anything you want to eat, don't hesitate to ask her for assistance. Nifty happily waved her hand at Axel who shakily waved back, trying to be kind despite how terrified he is going to be of her or some of the others in the hotel before Charlie introduced the others to him. Alastor is our business partner, with a sort of important authority here in Hell. Charlie curtly motioned to Alastor who smiled his amusement without showing his sharp teeth at Axel, feeling his spine vibrating from even a glimpse of his figure before he turned towards Angel eyeing at him with a stuck grin when Charlie then stood in front of him. Angel Dust is also our hotel's patron, as he is known as one of Hell's famous actors. So please be free to get acquainted. Ah. Axel realized. His stage name is named after the drag and not his real name. Okay. Vaggie is the manager, and the best one she is and always will be in both the hotel and my heart. Charlie immediately remarked with her positive happiness brightening her face when everyone watches her wrapping her arms around Vaggie in a hug and nuzzles her left cheek against her manager's right. As Axel noticed, the ire on Vaggie's face ever since his and Charlie's arrival immediately softened and returned the embrace with a shy smile and a soft blush on her cheeks, making sure she avoided hitting Charlie with her holy spear. It didn't take a genius for Axel to immediately connect the dots between Charlie and Vaggie's relationship as he was initially surprised for a bit before he found himself smiling his contentment at the scene. Whatever or whoever makes Charlie or anyone happy, whether living or dead, must still be happy in Axel's book. And that's how he goes through it in his past life. And he'll make sure he can accept that. And Husk over there is our front desk clerk and bartender. Charlie broke her and Vaggie's hug and point Axel to the bar and front desk where the grumpy sleeping cat demon, Husk, sluggishly lift his head and body off the desk with his right paw-like hand and claws still holding onto his glass bottle. His eyes weakly blink with a tired grimace as everyone stared at him in mixed reactions with Axel raising an eyebrow in confusion for Husk's drunken state when he weakly opens his mouth. But instead of speaking with a voice, Husk loudly burp a few bubbles out of his mouth with his eyes squinted shut when he did his response before everyone watched the drunken cat demon fall back on the bar and resume sleeping, bringing nothing but silence with Axel noticing how Charlie stared at Husk with a dumbfounded frown while Vaggie twitched an eyebrow in annoyance before everyone watches the founder and owner turning her attention back to the new guest with a happy smile. "Well, now that I introduced everyone," Charlie exclaimed, outstretching her arms in front of her team. "I hope that we'll give you the best service we can to help you redeem to heaven." Sure. Axel nodded his acceptance, trying to help Charlie's wishes for her hotel's cause by complying when he smiled his appreciation. "Thank you, Charlie. I'll do whatever I can to help you and your friends too." Unaware of Axel, Alastor raised his right eyebrow, and his already big smile grew in amusement while Vaggie stared at him with a suspicion glower for not just his appearance but also his intentions and that he also have a holy spear by his side or coiled around his body with the weapon's chains. "Oh, and trust me when I say that you'll get more than the hotel services since you'll be joining us." Angel Dust cooed temptingly when Axel watched the tallest sinner demon slowly lean forward with a faint bow and grasp his fluffy melons with his upper hands, surprising Axel and Charlie with the latter staring at him in shock. "If you like, I'll give you the best first night of hell in your afterlife, big boy." "And no thank you." Axel objected and slid away from Angel Dust to stand behind Charlie with his hands holding her shoulders, as if he is using her as a shield away from the grinning spider demon who doesn't seem annoyed at being rejected when he hummed in crude delight. "Don't worry, cutie. I'll still get your peach sooner or later." Angel chortled with a lick of his lips with his tongue, making Axel's body shiver in fear even when Charlie holds her arms outstretched and blocked Angel away from their guest. "Angel, please don't make Axel uncomfortable too. He's been dealt a lot when he arrived earlier," Charlie warned, trying to push Angel Dust away without touching his fluffy chest, and not roughly, yet she and Axel felt they were gently dragged away from Angel before they turned around and stood in front of Vaggie. "Charlie, can you tell us how you find him? And where have you been? I've been looking all over for you in the hotel, hun." Vaggie asked with her suspicious glow bear worry in her scowl as Charlie and Axel first stare at each other with a dreaded scowl, further increasing Vaggie, Alastor, Angel, and Nifty's bemusement with the dear demon tilting his head to the side of seeing their reactions before Charlie faces back to her team while Axel looked away with a sad scowl. With a slow breath of air exhaled from her mouth, Charlie calmed down after watching their initial debate before she proceeds to explain everything that happened to her for a few minutes before she found and met Axel. Hopefully, Vaggie won't be mad at her for not telling her where she was earlier and how she may have also survived an unexpected battle with an exterminator angel. Ignoring the pentagram city moving by riding in her family's limousine, Charlie let herself cry tears of sorrow as she tries her best to forget what she had to know when she had to leave the happy hotel without telling Vaggie and the others what she was told as official business. Of all things, apart from the extermination that killed hundreds of the innocent demons and the disastrous interview at her hotel last week, Charlie must face the music for the status of the Hell race happening tomorrow and the finalized 12 out of 13 racers. That and the extermination are what Charlie dislikes, no, hates the most, because those dreadful events that happened once a year involve killing demons. But unlike the extermination, which the exterminator angels are the sole assailants, the Hell race are assigned a selective number of sinner demons to kill themselves by racing themselves with combat until a winner has been decided for the special prize. As much as she rather wants to ignore it, she cannot stand how the sinner demons find pleasure in killing themselves through a combat race. She did think of wanting to have the Hell race cancelled this year for the racers' lives, even if she heard rumors and read of their problematic personalities, but all she gets are criticism from the other demons in charge of the Hell race for her wanting to cancel a traditional event of Hell. And ever since the failed news interview last week, Charlie can tell that no one will take her seriously, and that soured her mood further to break down. As she was about to grab her phone and call Vaggie, Charlie almost screamed her shock from feeling her limousine abrupt stop and fell over her seat just when she felt the entire car jerking with the sounds of glass breaking, as if something large has hit the windshield. "Sorry. You, okay?" Charlie heard a voice of a man shouting his worry from outside, but Charlie was startled at the fact that an unfamiliar man is asking for her welfare. Apart from Vaggie or her parents checking up on her, Charlie understood that every demon of Hell would never care about anyone's safety. Excuse me. What's happening outside?" Charlie loudly asks the driver through the closed interior window of the limousine, but just as she was about to pull it down with the recently fixed SWCH, a small flash of silver instantly shot through the side of the window but managed to avoid hitting Charlie's face when she heard something and hastily jumped away and landed her back on the floor from what caught her terror to recognize and scream her horror of seeing a holy harpoon-like spear almost jabbing through the now large hole. And from seeing the black liquid streaming down to the blade that alarmed Charlie to hastily climbed on her feet on the limo's floor and carefully scoot closer to the window she hastily opened without touching the holy weapon. Charlie froze in. Distraught and almost gagged in revulsion of seeing the now dead driver with his now pulverized head broken into bloody pieces now littering his driver's seat. Suddenly, Charlie witnessed the holy spear that killed her driver swiftly pulling back from the driver's disfigured head and zooming outside the limousine through the broken windshield, which attracted Charlie to rapidly run and open the door to stand outside just when she shuddered in her dismay and quickly shield her ears with her hands from hearing a deafening shrill noise shrieking in the air. Through the ear torment, Charlie glared at the source and watched an exterminator angel writhing in agony from being covered in yellow flames while the holy spear stabbed through its body and heart. In front of the anguished angel, his hands also shielding his ears and must have created the murderous entity's scorching suffering even when the screaming has ended for Charlie and the other to remove their hands off their ears, is an unfamiliar figure sitting on his butt on the ground. Even from afar, Charlie can smell and sense from his scent that the person is a new unfortunate soul in hell, but she can see that he stared at the now disintegrated angel with no pride or ferocity, but rather horrified and sorrow, as if he will break down sooner or now. What's going on? Charlie wondered in fear when she stared at both the new soul and the angel's ashes flying away into the sky and disappearing into nothing while the surprising victorious fighter slowly grabbed the discarded holy weapon by pulling the chain closer to it, with a lot of questions of what happened to fill her mind. How could an angel be here? The extermination ended last week, so nothing from heaven should be here and cause their mayhem to kill anyone here. How did this new sinner manage to kill an exterminator angel? Did he somehow notice he must have used his new fire powers when he fought the enemy? And what will happen to him now? Maybe I should console him. Charlie decided as she managed to find the strength in her legs from almost falling onto the slightly damaged road and hurriedly run towards the frightened soul. Hopefully, he's not like the rough sinner demons in hell who would push anyone away if they are suffering. Excuse me. You both what? Vaggie yelled in both shock and anger as soon as Charlie and Axel finished explaining their first meeting and the latter's victorious fight against the exterminator angel to the Happy/Hazbin Hotel's team, with the storytellers trying to look away from their reactions with an apprehensive frown as they now kneeling and sitting on their knees on the floor instead of standing on their feet during the story. Other than Vaggie's understanding anger, the others reacted with mixed emotions, but their eyes are widened in possibly dismay or something else, with Angel's lips puckering in a pout, Alastor's mouth opened wide as if he was about to scream from his smile, Nifty is an unsure frown, and even Husk, who managed to move from his sleep at the bar to join the others, raised an eyebrow in a slightly tired and surprised sneer. Do you have any idea that you almost got yourself killed, hun? And even if he's new, does he even know that you're the princess and he'll get killed by anyone who'll get the holy weapon off him? Vaggie, I'm sorry that we worried you. Charlie solaced with a worried scowl after raising her head and waving her hands up and down in the air, not seeing Axel blinking his eyes with a startled frown. We didn't think that the exterminator angel could be fighting against Axel a week after the extermination ended, and it was an accident that I almost got myself killed. But at least we're both unharmed from the angel. Although I may have a bit of concern for Axel stealing the holy spear from the dead owner. What are you talking about, princess? Angel asked with a scoff. It's a good thing that he killed that Mothaf and took the holy spear. Would you care how many demons that would have been killed if they realized that an angel is on the loose? But how could an exterminator angel be here, especially since the extermination happened last week, even before a certain news interview started? Alastor pondered with his menacing smile directed at Axel, Charlie, and Vaggie, with the latter whirling her holy spear at him in anger when he mentioned an interview that made Charlie winced with an angrily sad pout. Wait, Charlie. Everyone heard Axel asking with a strangely flabbergasted tone as they turned towards the new guest staring at him in astonishment. Are you a princess? Oh, I forgot to mention you earlier. Charlie realized in shock that dimmed into a concerned smile. I'm the princess and heir to the throne of hell. But since you want to stay in the Happy Hotel, please don't mind my title and just think of me as a friend. Axel first blinked his red eyes in bafflement as he first stares at the others to see him facing back at him with a curious scowl on almost everyone's faces for his realization before he glances back at Charlie, tensing her shoulders with a worried smile even when Axel slowly turned around to kneel in front of her and leaned his body down until his hands and forehead touches the floor to not look at everyone staring at him in confusion, or surprise, resembling a Japanese dejiza, and start muttering aloud an apology, but the group stared at him in puzzlement of how fast he apologizes to the point that his voice became inaudible. I'm sorry for not realizing that I'm talking and even meeting the princess of hell, but please let me thank you for allowing me to stay in your hotel and help me redeem to heaven. I hope you don't mind letting me speak with you and think of me as a friend. I promise I can do anything I can to make you and your friends happy and help with whatever I can. Axel, please calm down. It's all right. It's just a small matter. I forgive you. Charlie quickly reassured and frantically waved her arms and hands in shock as Axel continues his mumbling apology without lifting his head off his hands and the floor while everyone else watched the scene with mixed bemusement with Alastor rubbing his chin with a finger and Husk grouchily drinking the contents off his glass bottle. Vaggie, on the other hand, watched her girlfriend comforting the hotel's official patron with a worried sneer although the corners of her mouth twitched for a faint smile to crackle on her jaw. At least that Axel is sincerely kind, and better than angel dust. Vaggie acknowledged although her sad scowl returned when she noticed something about the new guy. What did he do to end up in hell? Well, at least the new guy managed to stop that F-er before he could ruin the hell race. Husk grumbled aloud with a burp as his words attract Charlie and Axel to stop apologizing to each other with the former flinching in horror while the latter slowly raise his head off the floor and see everyone staring at the drunk cat demon continuing without changing his tired sneer. We heard through Alastor's radio that the race has moved up to tomorrow for this year's race. Oh. Vaggie. I'm also sorry that I didn't tell you where I was at. Charlie turned toward Vaggie and scowled her sadness at the floor when she apologized to her girlfriend. I was upset when I was told that the hell race has been moved up from next week to tomorrow, and even if the 13th racer is not confirmed, it will still be proceeding. Don't worry about that, hun. At least that none of us will even think of going to try this year nor the other ones before and after this. Vaggie softly kneels closer to Charlie and soothingly rubs the other's back with a hand, a gentle smile on her face that brought Charlie to smile back at her but still sad about this hell race, slowly attracting Axel's curiosity about this event and why the princess of hell herself is saddened of this. Hey, what's the hell race? Is it one of those demon races where they try to kill each other while racing around hell or something? Axel asked any of the Happy/Hazbinhotel staff who immediately looked back at him with their attention. The sight of Charlie, Vaggie, and Nifty's surprise on their faces can confirm his thoughts about the race with Alastor heard humming from his cruel smile. Oh. And how do you know about that, my good man? Do you have something like that in your home, too? Alastor asked. Not really. I used to be a street racer before I retired but I can guess as much since this is hell and what better way demons would try to do in the race is to kill each other. Axel presumed with a shrug of his shoulders, as he noticed that even Angel is amused by his revealed past as a former street racer. Well, you're right about that, handsome. Angel elucidate with a surprisingly serious but still playful grind. The hell race happens once a year, 2 weeks after the event where poor unfortunate demons end up by the same angels you kicked his butt during the extermination, where the badass racers drive around the Pride Ring with weaponized cars for 3 days, with the first 2 days used to kill as many racers as you can to race with the last few racers for the third and final race. The winner gets an awesome prize. What it is, I don't know since I never took part due to my busy schedule. Axel listened in fascination that caught the other's attention of his reaction during Angel's explanation only to joke about the hell race's prizes just to make Axel's excitement faltered into sadness, like a kid not getting what they want, bringing Angel to laugh at his reaction. Wait. Axel mused to himself in suspicion. Wasn't there an old movie about something like the hell race, back home? You don't even know about Alastor and him being an overlord. How do you know about the hell races? Vaggie mentally scoffed at Angel Dust in disappointment. Hey, have you thought about joining this year's hell race, kid? Husk suggested what snapped everyone into bewilderment in their frowns or smiles as Axel first stared at the cat demon with perplexity before Charlie immediately objected with a worried scowl and rose onto her feet with Vaggie following her. Wait a minute. Don't you think it's too sudden to ask him about that? Axel just got here. Yes, my dear. Alastor nodded, not even answering Axel's private question if this guy is sincere in personality or always smiling and enjoying himself like a psychopath. However, if Hell found out that our new guest killed an angel and took its holy weapon after arriving in Hell, it won't be a surprise that it will be in that Killjoy's news. And it won't be a surprise if that vile picture show of hers caught sight of you two on the spot. And he did say he's an ex-street racer. Nifty reminded with a curious scowl. That, and with his new holy weapon, he might as well win the Hell race, for sure. Oh, I don't know about that. Axel muttered in apprehension and slowly scratched the back of his head with a hand as he stared at the other's curious reaction to his decision of entering his first Hell race right after dying, with a quick turn of his head for Axel to face Charlie and Vaggie also facing him, with the former subtly looked away from him with sorrow while the latter held her hand on the other's shoulder with worry for the hotel's founder and their new customer, inducing his distress. As much as he would think that it would be impossible for a newcomer to participate in a dangerous killing race like the Hell race, he also believed that because of his first actions, he is no way that the other denizens will ignore him and even threaten him to join just to die in the first race. Also, he wished he could do something to help Charlie and her friends with their situation at the hotel involving him. Maybe, once he could get to his new room, he should ask Charlie and Vaggie more about Hell, the hotel, and even the exterminator angel and heaven before he could make up his mind. Somewhere in Hell, on top of one of the tallest buildings in the Pentagram City and closer to where a fight between a fallen exterminator angel and a new sinner demon took place, was a figure watching a vision she conjured on her hands involving the said fight before showing the current scene of the victor joining a band of demons inside an abandoned-looking hotel. If demons who can fly in the air can see her, the unexpected being is an attractive and tall woman, who looks completely human, with fair skin, violet eyes and long black hair, a large bust held by a black, strap-like LTHR around and under her melons, with a black piece resembling a thong with 3 thin stripes around her hips, arm-lengthened black gloves adorned with chains around them, shoulder guards with 3 large spikes sprouting from her right shoulder, black thigh-high heeled boots, and a large pair of black feathered wings, like angel wings. Humph. The damned fallen angel failed his job. Even with the power he had, he's dead, and that coward took his holy weapon. The black-winged angel growled in fury and swung her arm to the side, dismissing her projection vision in the process. How filthy, although. Realizing something, the black-winged angel lifted both hands in front of her and used her powers to conjure different mists of colorful smoke forming into another vision. But unlike before, this one shows a human resembling the sinner demon she was spying on earlier in a human bank, filled with terrified people, and he is currently fighting against 2 robbers. One, he set the first one's head on fire before shooting his legs with the criminal's gun before the human boy was killed after shooting his last bullet at the second and last robber who threw his machete at the human CHST. I suppose I can use this to my advantage. This will be fun. The angel smirked in crude delight. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 2. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author RedKHII on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.